Wall Street climbed overnight as renewed tech sentiment offset Middle East conflict worries. To break down the market moves ahead of our open, Henry Jennings from Marcus Today joins me now. Henry, nice to see you this morning. Yeah, so
Hi.
We learned overnight that AI exceptionalism supersedes war in the Middle East.
Yeah, we certainly did. Chipmakers were back in fashion. They have had a pretty roller coaster ride, I guess, and all eyes will be on SK Hynix with that US listing massively oversubscribed. So that does give some confidence, I guess, to the sector. It'll be interesting to see what the Korean market does today, but that has been very much, well, it's been massively volatile, hasn't it? Huge leverage bets each way in terms of that. So it's going to be interesting. I suspect we're going to have a relatively quiet-ish day today. What has been impressive over the last few days, I guess, is the market's ability to fight back from early losses. We've seen sort of 130 points down, closing sort of down 20 points, I think it was on Wednesday, and a bit of a rally as well yesterday. So there certainly is some dip buying around in our market at the moment. Not much in terms of corporate news, but the themes remain the same. Banks steady, defensives doing well, and resources under some pressure. Whether that pans out today remains to be seen. We might see a little bit of a reversal of some of those trends.
Yeah, okay. So focus here today goes where, Henry?
Well, I guess we saw the gold price rally, so that'll be interesting to see how the gold miners do lead resources, if they lead resources. We've also saw yesterday iron ore stocks under pressure. Rio was downgraded by one big broker, so that hurt them. So I suspect we're going to see a little bit of maybe some book squaring heading into the weekend, because after all, anything could happen in the weekend. So we could see some book squaring in resources, especially in the gold space, and maybe a little bit of profit taking in one or two of the industrials and the banking sector, perhaps. The tech sector still seems as if it's struggling, but its day will come, no doubt. It just depends on what level it comes from.
Well, I guess that was one of the big stories in an otherwise pretty quiet week in terms of corporate news. The fact that Richard White is stepping back from the exec chair role at WiseTech to take on, I think it was Chief Innovation Officer or something like that. I'm not sure. But does it matter? I mean, was this enough?
I don't think it's enough. It's certainly the market responded very favourably to it to begin with. I mean, he changes job titles more often than a corporate climber in terms of the corporate ladder. So it's obviously he's still the main shareholder, 33% and the driving force of the business, and a lot of shareholders are very happy with that, but with that comes the downside. But that has been, I guess, one of the stories of the week. The other story that's been interesting, I think, is the Firmus story, the IPO story, and that valuation there. I have to say, I did have to check and see if I'd gone to Specsavers to see if that valuation was what I was actually reading, because it seems extreme, to say the least, for this new upcoming AI factory builder, considering they haven't actually built any AI factories yet.
You're talking about FDC that listed yesterday, correct?
No, not FDC. I'm talking about Firmus, the IPO that's in the FDC was unfortunately, in some respects, it's been the biggest IPO of the ASX this year. I think it was only about $400 million. So that's, when the US is chucking around billions, our biggest IPO this year is a $400 million float. It's not great for the ASX, but Firmus could change all that if it does come to fruition, and we'll see how that one pans.
Yeah. So no interest in FDC?
No, to be honest, no, I didn't really know much about it. It seems a very good business, good balance sheet, founder-led, good management. Solid construction. It's been around for a long time. Certainly a good business, the sort of business that is going to be rewarded on the ASX. So certainly no question there in terms of quality, and it's good to see some quality coming to the market. But to be honest, it kind of passed me by until I saw it yesterday. It wasn't highly promoted, I don't think, and probably they didn't have to highly promote it, whereas other more speculative floats, I guess, get a lot more coverage in the press.
So I saw somebody posting on LinkedIn, back in 2021, the ASX had 199 IPOs, $13.2 billion raised. Year to date, we've got 21 IPOs and $2.4 billion raised. We're more than halfway through the year. It's pretty extraordinary. So what do we
It
look
is.
forward
It
to?
is.
We'll keep an eye on gold. We'll keep an eye on energy. But as I said, it was pretty quiet on the corporate news front. Do you still expect to see some confessions coming through in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I guess so. They've got a small window. It is also July, of course, and July, unlike August, which is a reporting season, July being confession season. But more importantly, I guess it is also quarterly season, and we are seeing a lot of quarterlies drop for gold miners. And some of those are good, some of those are bad. Pantoro yesterday disappointed. So that's been suboptimal to say the least. But we have seen a lot of gold companies come through and meeting guidance in terms of production, and also importantly showing the fruits of their labours in terms of the cash piles that they have built up over the last quarter and the last few quarters. They are quite astonishing in some respects for gold companies. They're sitting on an awful lot of cash. The question, I guess, is what they do with that cash, whether they reward shareholders or whether they just keep holding it, or whether we see increased M&A activity, which we have seen, of course, with Genesis and Regis in terms of that Vault Minerals battle, which is yet to be concluded. And I think Regis has got till Monday morning or Monday noon to counter the Genesis offer, which looks, I have to say, looks a bit of a knockout blow. So there's plenty happening in the gold sector, but obviously the bullion price is the main driver, and there's nothing like a diminishing bullion price for the bears to jump on board and the bulls to have their optimism tested. But maybe today we'll get a little bit more bullish sentiment in the sector.